Hey everybody, Sean Holsinger here from HolsingersFlyShop.com. This season I've been working on, the spring I should say, been working on a stonefly pattern that I liked, and I've been working on perfecting my pattern, I guess I should say. Lively Legz is what I'm using for it. This is another one of my lively leg patterns. This one actually came to me. I was fishing up in Kettle Creek, and I had caught a bunch of the stoneflies in the stream up there, and I was using them as the model for it, for the size and the colors. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with an 1870 Daiichi wet nymph hook. It's kind of the swimming nymph hook. 5/32 gold bead. I'm using wood duck colored thread on here. First thing we're going to put on is some brown goose biots. We're going to put them up here at the eye, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap them on one at a time, one on each side, and I'm using the hook eye, to separate the biots to give the antenna look here. You can see there one on the side that shoots off the side. I'm going to put the other one on here, and I'll put it on the other side so it shoots out the other way. It's just like at the back here, I'll show you in a second, where we do the ball to display the biots. We'll just using the hook eye as the ball here. Okay, so we're just going to wrap down our two biots, and there you can see how it splits on the hook eye. And then we're going to tie this off, because we want our thread to go behind the bead here. So I'm just going to put a quick little whip finish on here. Okay, now we're going to cut our thread off and bring our bead up, and we're going to slide the bead right up to the eye. Okay, now we're going to come back to the back, and like I said, this is a size 8 I'm tying this on. This is for the really bigger ones. The ones I was fishing up in Kettle Creek, they were actually a size 10. You could even go a smaller one in a size 12. Wouldn't be a bad thing. It's a good thing to have a couple different sizes in your box, so you know when you're on the water you can decide which one you want. I'm tying this ball. I'm going to make my ball here display my goose biots about right above the barb on the hook. So we're just going to make a ball here. Okay, come in front of it, and we're going to take two more goose biots. And again, I'm going to put them on one at a time. I make these just a little bit longer on the back than the ones on the front. And just making sure I keep them on the side and wrap back to that ball. And then I'm going to cover up the butts of them. Okay, and there you can see my splayed tail, my splayed head, my bead up there. Okay, now we're just going to wrap this back a little bit. Now, I just had a guy in the shop the other day ask me, what's my go-to fly right now? He said, if I'm nymphing, I have one fly on, what's it going to be? Well, I always nymph with a couple, but I'm always going to have one fly on. What's my go-to one? And it's this golden stonefly. Next thing we're going to put on is some 0.15 lead wire. The reason I use this is it's just such a natural attractor, and I fish. Anybody local here around my shop, come into my shop, they know that the stream right in front of the shop there, it's not the best stream. There's not a lot of natural aquatic insects in it and stuff, and I don't know if there was ever a golden stone in that stream, but we catch fish constantly on the golden stone pattern. I like to check nymph. I like to get my nymphs down. I don't like to use a lot of weight if I don't have to on my line, meaning split shots. So this is a perfect pattern. You got a good attractor, and you're getting down using the big heavy fly, not having to use split shots to get you down. We're going to take our wood duck thread here. We're just going to wrap this down, get it into place so it doesn't move around. You're getting 15 wraps or so of lead on there, probably a couple more than that, but But anyway, getting enough lead. Now we're just going to smooth it out. Okay. Next thing we're going to put on, a piece of thin skin. This is actually, I'll show you this color here. It's mottled. It's the mottled yellow thin skin. And we're going to cut a strip of it. It's a little wide. About an 1/8 inch, maybe a little bit wider. And what we're going to do, trim that up. I didn't really like that. I'm going to cut a little bit of a point on it to tie it down so it stays thin. And there's a shiny side, which you can't really see here. I'll see if I can show it. The one side, there you go, is really shiny. The other side is duller. I like to have the dull side facing up when I wrap it down. So when I pull it over, I mean, I want the dull side up. So I'm going to wrap it down with the shiny side facing up to start with. As I tie it onto my hook, the shiny side will be facing up. And then when I pull it back over, the dull side will be showing. Okay, so we're just going to wrap all that down. Next thing I want to put on a piece of ribbing for this. We're going to use brassy size black ultra wire. And just going to tie that in. This is a little bit of a time consuming fly, but it's a good fish catcher. And they're a lot of fun to tie too. I'll tie these in stages. Like I'll usually tie up to this point before the lead in the thin skin there. I'll tie a whole bunch of biots, bead, thread, and the lead. Sorry, get them to that point. I'll do like 12 of them or so, and then I'll come back and finish the rest of the fly. Next thing we're going to use is some fine natural dubbing sulfur yellow. We're going to use this on the back end of the fly. I like to have a lighter back end and a darker front end. The sulfur yellow is what we're going to use for the back end. The sulfur orange we'll use for the front. I'm just going to put a little bit of wax on my thread. I'm using Loon's High Tax Wax. Really good stuff. Really suggest it. The thread on this, I should say, I'm using UTC Ultra Woodcock Ultra Thread to 140 in Wood Duck. Sorry, not Woodcock. Wood Duck. Now, I like to keep a nice smooth body. That's why I'm using the ultra fine, the dubbing here. That way I can keep it small and it doesn't make my body too bulky, because I'm already building up bulk with that lead, so I don't want it to be really, really thick. So get this dubbed on here nice, and we're going to start covering the hook. Start back here at the back, and we just want to make the body of it there yellow. Like I said, I don't want it to be thick. I don't want to build up a lot of body, because we already have the body with the lead. We're building it up already with the lead. So just come in and get this dubbing on here nice and tight to keep it thin. All we're doing is adding color here, really. And we're going to bring it up a little bit further, just about halfway. And then we're going to put on the lively legs after we get this part here finished. And so you need to leave room for those lively legs. They're a little bit big, but it's all proportionate when it's done here. Okay, that's about good right there. Now we're going to pour a thin skin back up over. Going to make it kind of tight. Hold her down here and wrap it down into place. Get a couple nice, good, tight wraps. We'll cut our thin skin off. Okay, now we're going to wrap our lead wire up here, or brassy wire, or ultra wire. And we need to keep the thin skin on the top. So as we're wrapping, we just want to make sure that it doesn't ride around the side. If it does, just give her a little push back into place. Try to make nice even wraps. Make it look pretty. You're segmenting the body here. So you want a nice even segment. Okay, and then we're just going to wrap that up to where we tied off your last material, and we're going to tie this off. Okay, and we'll helicopter that off. So you see you have yellow on the bottom with a nice rib, and on the top you got your thin skin back. So it gives you a two-tone body, just like the real fly. Okay, the next thing we're going to put on, we're going to use our lively legs again. We're tying in the size large yellow legs. And what we're going to do, if you saw my last video using these, I show you about starting it on the side. And we want to have, when we put this on here, you see where I'm putting it? I'm putting the front legs just a little bit behind the bead there. Give yourself a little room behind the bead, because this is actually going to pull up some. So you want a little bit room behind the bead, and you see where I stopped it there, it all come out about equal, right where I wanted it. Okay, that's the best angle I can show you there. We're going to start it on the side, because as it pulls, as it wraps, it's going to slide up over the side. Okay, and we're just going to keep wrapping them down kind of loosely, just getting them all into place where we want them right now. And then once we get it loosely into place, we're going to tie them a little bit tighter with each wrap. Okay, and then we're going to start crisscrossing the legs to tie them into place so they don't move around. Okay, these, like I said in my former videos with these lively legs, it just takes a little bit of practice. You're going to have to do, 3 or 4 of these to get the feel for how they lay on the hook. Once you do, then it's really, really simple, really easy. You see how they all laid on there nice and easy. What we're going to do now is we're going to cut the tag off here on the front and the back. We got this all wrapped into place. I was saying about these, one of my go-to flies. And I fish these all the time on my leader, even in streams that don't have stoneflies. It's such a natural looking bait that you just can't beat it. The next thing is the Sulphur Orange in the extremely fine natural dubbing, color 15 there. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to wax up our thread a little bit. Put on a little bit of dubbing. We're not going to use a lot of dubbing because we're going to do each leg section separately here. So we want enough dubbing that we can cover each leg section, but not any more. Okay, so we're going to start with the back one, and we're going to put a couple wraps behind the legs. Then we're going to start crisscrossing over the legs. And we're just going to work on this back leg for right now. We'll get a couple, 1 or 2 wraps the whole way around it. Okay, I want to build up just a little bit more there. Get a little bit more body. Make this end a little bit thicker. So, put just a little bit more dubbing on here. Okay, now that we got that on, we're going to come in front of the legs. And the next thing we're going to do, if you watch my last video, we took the thin skin and we punched out with our stonefly cutters. I'll show you that here in a second. We punched out all these little wing cases for the back. I'm going to pull 2 of those off, and I'm going to start wrapping them down. And here's my stonefly wing cutters. Get that down out of the way here. These are made by, this is the size 12 I'm using, by River Road Creations. This is the Stonefly Wing Pad Cutter, size 12. And I showed you, if you go back to my last video, I showed you how you lay them down. I just cut a whole bunch out at one time. And then when I'm ready to tie, I can just sit down and start cutting away. Then we're going to take these little wing patterns and we're going to set them down. And again, we're going to put shiny side down so the dull side's up. We're just going to set it right on top of there. And there we go. And get it where I want it. And then we're going to wrap it down. Okay, and then I'm going to come in front of the legs, wrap that little tag down up there. So you can see here, let me see if I can get that into place a little bit better. So you can see how I covered that up. And now we're going to come back in on top of that, and we're going to dub the next section of legs. This is, like I said, this is very time consuming. You can actually skip ahead to the next part here if you want. I'm going to do the exact same thing that I just did, you know, with covering up those legs and then tying in the next wing case. Well, so we're just going to wrap it down, a couple wraps behind, then zigzag over the legs, wrap them into place, building up some body here. Pull this a little tighter. Okay, now we're going to come in with my next piece, my next wing cutter pattern there. I can pick it up off my bench. Okay, we're going to set it on top. Sorry for being a little boring and long-winded in this one, but it's worth, I'll tell you what, to have a box full of these has been well worth it for me. This is probably the most effective fish catcher for me this season. And probably just because I have more confidence in it and have been fishing it a lot more. But it's just that good of a pattern for me. Now, we got both of these on. What we're going to do again is we're going to put some more of this Sulphur Orange on. And then we're going to finish it up here. So we're going to put some Sulphur Orange on, get this all covered up in here behind the bead. I'm going to need a little bit more than that probably. And we're going to zigzag these legs just like we did all the other ones. Now these legs here, the front legs, for some reason always seem to want to turn on me. I'm doing pretty good this time. They're not turning on me, but these are the hardest ones to get to not turn, the front ones. Okay. Okay, build that up there. You see how I got it built up clear up to the head, up to the bead here. Now we're going to take the piece that we cut off the back, this thin skin that we used to wrap up over the back here. We're just going to take the piece we cut off, and I want to trim the ends off here. Just round it off just a little bit. Just get it more of like a rounded shape. And then we're going to set this on top. I'm going to tie this down right behind the bead. And this is going to put the head piece on this. I'm going to give a couple nice tight wraps here. Okay, then I just fold it back, give her a snip, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to tie off, I'm going to whip finish this off. Okay, I like these swimming nymph hooks because it gives you a more lifelike appearance. You know, the shape of it gives it more of a lifelike appearance than just a big long skinny nymph. This kind of looks a little bit intimidating when you see the finished product. You know, it looks realistic. It's not as intimidating as you think. Let me see if I can hold it off of here. There you can see the back profile of it. You can see how it's such a realistic profile. Get this straightened up a little bit there. There you go. I just love this pattern. It's been catching me a ton of fish this year. It's worked really great for me. It's not that hard. It's not as intimidating as it looks. I really suggest you trying it. It's a little bit more than a novice fly, but it'll catch you a lot of fish. All the stuff you need to tie this, the cutters, the thin skin, the dubbing, we all carry it in the shop at holsingersflyshop.com. If you have any questions on it, how I did something, or if you think something different would work, let me know. Give me a call or email me at the shop. I'll be glad to answer your questions. Leave a comment here on the YouTube channel. Please take the time to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I love hearing from you guys, and thanks for watching. Without you guys watching, I wouldn't take the time to do this. So thanks again for watching. I'm Sean Holsinger from HolsingersFlyShop.com.